A lot of y'all don't know what I've been going through, what Melissa and I have been going through over the last year before this, right? We've had a lot of crazy things happen to us over the last year. That's how crazy this is. I didn't even know that could happen. I had went to go scratch my back and touch my butt, and I was like,
The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself, and not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is Donivan Gray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. So first, I like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 380 videos on our channel. You want to learn real estate? We got that. You want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. You want makeup, hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Look, it's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will be on our story, and you can find me on Instagram at Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you already do every day. We made different playlists for all the things we're into, and we put those links below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 2, page 79 of the story. So we have 4 segments. All right, we have the life update, which is self-explanatory. Episode Playback, which is a recap of last week's episode. We have Donivan's questions. I'm Donivan, I ask you a question. And then we have the topics of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is September 21st, and it's 1:47 p.m. Now, the significance behind that is that it's early. So I have some energy. I don't know if you could tell. You could feel the energy coming out. You can feel it, right? I feel good. It's early. The sun is out. We're not shooting at 6:30 at night. Sun going down. My face is orange because of the contrast and the colors and the light. Nope. Everything good. Now, starting with the podcast, I like to check my screen time. Okay? This is that little reminder for you and everybody else listening that you need to know how much time you spend on your cell phone. Now, I already know that my screen time is going to be up more than the last 2 weeks. Y'all know I had a good week, had a good run, but I just know it's gonna be higher. Now, my daily average right now for the time I spent on my phone is 7 hours and 19 minutes. That's between Sunday, Monday, and today, which is Tuesday. All right. On Sunday, I spent 8 hours and 28 minutes on my phone. On Monday, I spent 9 hours and 39 minutes on my phone. That's damn near 10 hours that's almost half of the days on my phone. I'm going to come back and see what I did that day on my phone. And then today I spent 3 hours and 49 minutes, and it's currently 1:50. Now, I want to check to see yesterday, what was I doing yesterday on my phone for 9 hours and 39 minutes. So, a lot of YouTube. It's really high YouTube. 3 hours and 24 minutes on YouTube, an hour and 37 minutes on Safari, an hour and 37 minutes on Instagram. Twitter is 53 minutes. Chase is 30 minutes. I was doing my finances. And then you have the wallet, and then you have Google. I had 119 pickups. That is really high. I'm pretty sure there's some type of psychological reason behind why I pick up my phone more on certain days as opposed to other days, and why I'm on my phone a lot on maybe Sunday or Tuesday or whatever. So let me see. 60 pickups on Sunday, and today I had 51 pickups. So that's how I spent my my time on my phone this week. All right. Now that we are finished with that, we are going to get into life update. This title will probably bring in some new folk, right? So a lot of y'all don't know what I've been going through, what Melissa and I have been going through over the last year before this, right? We've had a lot of crazy things happen to us over the last year. We've had a lot of crazy things happen to us over the last year. So some of those things are not in any actual order, but here are some of those things. We bought a house to renovate in Philadelphia, our first investment property that we've ever purchased, right? We also try to do Airbnb this year, right? Our first renovation that we've ever had has gotten delayed by 2 months, right? We learned that during the process of renovating this house. Not only was the house renovation delayed, we are about $50,000 over the budget that we had planned for this, and we don't have a job. We were about to get evicted because we weren't paying rent because of the moratorium. So we didn't really have any income, right, throughout this whole time. So we had to figure out a way to come up with the money to be able to pay the $50,000. So we tried Airbnb, right? We got a contract signed in Philadelphia for 3 units for Airbnb. We went to Philadelphia with all the furniture. We bought all the furniture, about $7,000 worth of furniture. The day that we get there, the day after the lease is supposed to be, is the execution date of the lease. The owner's lawyer calls us and tells us that he does not want to do Airbnb. And we've already bought all the furniture and it's being delivered this whole week. Okay. I had a situation before that where my family had agreed to let us do Airbnb in the property that they own in Harlem. They came back to us and said they no longer want us to do that, right? I have tried wholesaling. Well, Melissa and I have tried wholesaling. And not once, not twice, and not 3 times did we come this close to getting a deal done. Our first wholesale deal, which could have been worth a couple $1,000s, and the self-esteem of knowing that we were able to do it. Several times throughout that process, somebody stole the wholesale deal that we had. One time the guy found out we were wholesaling. Actually twice they found out we were wholesaling it, and they decided they wanted to cancel it. We had got the contract signed and we brought it to a buyer. The buyer went to the agent and told the agent we were wholesaling, and then he canceled the deal on us. This happened about 4 times, and actually 2 of them happened in the same week. This is a little insight of how our life goes. This is a little backstory, because a lot of people I said are going to be new to this episode. And there are more things. I know there are. Anything that you remember that I didn't bring up? I know there was a time that Melissa was she was becoming a production assistant, and she got caught up in a scam where they had sent her a check. It's the first time she ever tried this job. They tried to scam her by sending her a fake check that she would have to deposit into an account and then send them the money. So those are the things that I can remember about what we've been through over just the last year. That's not even really counting last year. That's just over the last 7 to 8 months, right? So we decided that we need some income for this house that we're about to renovate, and we were going to flip it. We're probably going to keep it now. We're still, just kind of figuring that out. So we decided, okay, Turo is one of those businesses that everybody's talking about, which is not necessarily a good thing, but it's somewhere to start. We can have a little bit of income because we currently, at that time, didn't really have income. Melissa now has kind of gotten more steady work as a production assistant, so that money can help. We are trying to get to a place where we can have more income, where we don't have to actually go out of the house and do the work ourselves. Turo is closer to that, but it's not 100% that. So we said, okay, we're going to get a car for Turo. Now, we finessed getting this car for Turo because we don't have income. We finessed our credit to get it up to that point to be able to get this car. We got a Honda CR-V, which is it's a compact sedan, not a very expensive car, about $18,000. And we talked about it last week on the podcast. Our first time getting a car for Turo, we got approved. Everything was going fine for the most part. So the car was supposed to get here last week, Thursday, right? So that would have been, I guess, maybe 2 weeks after we posted the podcast, probably. And Melissa noticed that there was no tracking number for the car. It's coming from Arizona or California or something like that, right? So with Carvana, we've noticed that it gets to a point where you have to be proactive in dealing with them because they aren't really going to try and reach out to you when there's a problem. You have to call them and figure out, okay, what's going on. Melissa's at work, right, on the 15th, the day before the car is supposed to be delivered. And she gets a message from Carvana. Carvana says, hey, the car won't be delivered due to something, right? So they said, no problem, no. We're going to redeliver the car or give you the car on the 28th. We're going to move the date a little bit, about 2 weeks ahead, right? So I'm like, wow, what are the odds that the day before the car is supposed to be delivered, they tell us that? So we're just like, okay, nothing surprising. Well, since what we've been through is like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. It's annoying, but not that big of a deal. So a couple more days go by, still no tracking number, right? So now we're like, okay, this is getting kind of ridiculous. Like, not only did you guys change the date, you then also still don't have a tracking number, right? So Melissa calls them again. Now, the phone call with them is a little bit long. It's kind of long, right? You would think that, but let me just, send you the tracking number and we'll let you know where the car is. We'll give you an estimate of what date the car will be there, or why don't you have a tracking number? So I'm in the house. We're both in the house. She's on the bed. I'm at the table. Now I'm probably doing my finances or something like that, and she's on the phone talking for quite a while. Right now, from her expression and her tone, I'm like, okay, something seems off. It doesn't seem like a regular, normal conversation. So she's just like, really, huh? Okay, right. So I'm hearing this. I'm like, this doesn't sound like positive news. And I didn't even know if it was really necessarily about the car itself, but she ended up telling me that it was. So Melissa gets off the phone. She was like, hey, you want to know what happened? I'm like, sure. I'm like, I'm thinking, like I said, well, it's going to be delayed or something. Maybe it's about the insurance. Maybe they want to send some more information, something annoying like that. They tell Melissa that the car was supposed to come to us on the 28th, right? And en route to getting the car not picked up, in the process of getting the car, I guess, checked on again before we actually got it, they were driving over there. Maybe they had on a big truck. I doubt a person was actually driving it, because that would be kind of crazy. I feel like that would be silly. I would hope they have it on the truck and a person's not driving the car. They told us that they got into an accident and their car got totaled, right? So we're like, well, I can't even believe what I'm hearing at this point. I'm in the chair and I'm just like, I don't understand what you're saying. I do not understand. My brain does not register what you're trying to tell me. So they were driving the car somehow, or transporting the car to get it tuned up, and they got the car wrecked and totaled, right? So now I'm sitting in the house and I'm like, what are the odds that this car, the first car we ever bought for Turo, will get totaled, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, maybe this is a sign not to do Turo. That's what I'm thinking. What were you thinking when you heard that the car was wrecked?
Well, honestly, what I was thinking, I was trying to figure out if they were lying or not. Mm-hmm. Because after, when they told me that, I asked them, when did you know that this car was totaled? Mm-hmm. Because this phone call was 2 days after the car was supposed to be delivered. Mm. So that means that you knew that the car was totaled when you said you were going to deliver it at the 28th.
Yeah. Unless it got totaled the day after you called.
I'm within those 2 days. And I'm like, what's the I'm like, did y'all... In my head, I'm kind of wondering if they ever had the call. I feel like that's so ridiculous and so preposterous. And then he said that usually there's supposed to be some type of notice that goes out when these type of things happen. Like, there's somebody's supposed to let me know. But like you said earlier, I've had to be very hands-on with this whole process. Like, hey, I put my documents in? Do you see it in my file? Like, they'll call me and ask me for things I already put in. So there's a miscommunication somewhere within their system. But I feel like this is a very big thing that you would want to let the customer know.
So yeah.
So that's what I was thinking.
Definitely might have to call them again.
Yes.
Because this tracking number thing. Did they ever say that you're gonna get a tracking number?
When I go on the app, it says out for delivery. You'll get a notification when your delivery starts, and you'll be able to track it here. And then when I go to track delivery, it says a warning.
Which is what?
We're locating your vehicle. We're waiting for your delivery advocate to start broadcasting the location. Hang tight. So, but the thing is because it was our first time doing it, I'm like, I don't know how much emphasis I should put on this. Because they might not have started it may not have started moving yet. Mm-hmm. But now it's getting to 5 days, 4 days, and I honestly don't know where the car is coming from. But it's like we're getting closer, and I don't know where the car is.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is that was going to be our first car for Turo. Honda CR-V 2018? 2016, right? When Melissa actually told me the first day when she called them and they said that it was going to have the date moved, I had to go and re-sign contracts to have the date changed, right? And I was looking at the computer and I was thinking, should we get this car? I'm like, maybe we should get a different car. I want to do some more research. I figured out that I can actually check on Turo. I can actually look for a car by its make and by its model. So that way I can do a little bit more research to find out which cars are better, which cars make the most money. So I was just thinking like, okay. I'm like, well, we already bought this car. Let's just keep it. Let's not, try and shake the boat. So this happens, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe this is a sign to get a different car, right? So I'm like, okay, do my research, figure out, okay, we found a new car to get. Okay, we found a Chevy Equinox 2020, right? Now, it got it for a really good price, I feel like. Now, I don't really know much about cars, so I don't know how much emphasis it goes into how many miles the car has. The car is from 2020, right? Think about this. The car's from 2020. That's last year, right? And the car currently has 63,000 miles on it, right? 63,000 miles. Now, I've done my research a little bit, and it says that a car should have about 15,000 miles per year on a car. So in 1 year, this car has about 4 times the amount of miles it should have on it, which I'm assuming means it was probably used for like Uber or something like that. That's what I'm thinking it was used for. Yeah, we're gonna look into that. This is live updating right now because my thing is this: we bought the car, right? And we bought it was on Carvana for $22,000, and it has 63,000 miles on it. So yeah, it was from last year, but the depreciation should be a lot more because the car has been used that much. So honestly, the car should be like probably closer to like $15,000 or something like that. Just my guess is what I'm thinking, by like $15,000. So I'm gonna look into that. So like I said, we bought this car. It's supposed to, based off of the information that I saw, be able to do $100+ a day, right? There are probably like 4 Equinoxes in that area, and they charge 3 of them charge over $115, and there's one that charges like $70, right? So somewhere in that range we can make for the car. Right now, our car insurance would be $385 for our insurance per month, and then the payment is $500. So for us to profit on this car, we would have to do about, if we did like $70, $80 a day at $15 a day, that's somewhat breaking even. Now, what that does not take into account is maintenance. That does not take into account travel and cleaning, which I guess goes into maintenance as well. My thing for this car was, if the car can break even, then we have a car that we do not have to pay for. That's how I was looking at it. And then we can, down the line, make more money from it. But I'm going to be honest with you. It is the numbers look like it could be a good car, but I like to be very conservative. Conservatively, it's an okay car. I don't know how many times people use a car per month on Turo. I don't really know what the occupancy rate is or the rental rate would be. So I just go by half. So it's like, okay, 15 days out the month out of 30 days. If we can rent the car 15 days, then let's say that's 5 trips or 3 times a trip, or 3 trips for 5 days, something in that realm, right? That's what I would think. That would be a nice place to start at. A lot of people seem to not be pro Turo. I've been doing some more research on it, and it's interesting to me because people who have high-end cars say that it's not worth it if you have a high-end car because people mess the car up, it depreciates, you lose money, and then Turo has new insurance where you can't even cover the car that much if something happens to it. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have people who are charging $20 a day, $30 a day for their car. Now, I think from what I've done so far, research I've looked at, the best kind of car to get for Turo would be a car that you probably pay for. I don't even want to say cash really, because I think to pay $18,000 out of pocket for that car is kind of crazy, or even $15,000. I think it comes down to what are your payments going to be per month. If you can get the car, right, and your payments are, let's say, under like $600, $700, and that's including your insurance plus the monthly payment, I think then you have a good space on the car. So that's where we are right now. And like I said, after this podcast, I'm definitely going to look into that price on the car, and then we're going to call them and see what's going on with that. Because if this doesn't work, listen, people owe us money for sure, because this is getting ridiculous. This is twice at this point that they messed up on the order of the car. And maybe it's the universe saying, hey Donovan, hey Melissa, y'all want a car? Is what y'all want? So we're gonna see. We're gonna do some looking into this later.
It's funny because I just typed in, because I wanted to see the different prices that you were talking about. I typed in Google 2020 Chevy Equinox, and you know how it has like the search, like the popular searches underneath. So underneath it says 2020 Equinox problems. I'm like,
same thing on mine, which is funny. So I read that.
I'm like, problems? What's the issues, right? So I click on it, and it's like common 2020 Chevy Equinox lemon law problems that you need to know about. So this is a law firm that will like help you sue Chevy because of the lemon cars.
Wow.
So apparently there's issues with the engine. One driver reported that the engine was severely impacted when they yielded with no throttle response for 30 feet when merging onto a road, so poor braking, fuel system woes, transmission issues. And I'm like, that sounds like the whole car is messed up. Like, what did y'all make?
Yeah, I read the same thing. And my data that I saw, there's a person right now, right, who in Jersey, which is the only place we can actually have our car for Turo, he currently has 88 cars on Turo, right? 88 cars, which is insane, right? So I'm scraping the internet for all the data that he has as far as like how many cars he has, which cars he has, how many trips they do, how often they're booked, how much he charges for them. And he bought 3 Chevy Equinoxes. He bought 3 of them. So I'm thinking, okay, if he is the market maker in this city or in that city, there's a reason why he bought 3 of these. Like this, I don't think it's an accident that he went out and bought 3 of the same exact car. And I think they're even different years, like 2020, 2021, I think. So I go, okay, and he's charging a good amount of money for these. So I'm like, okay, this must be a good purchase for this car. So we're gonna double check it afterwards and see what's going on with this. I actually wanted to rent his car and see what kind of, because he has like 4.9 5-star reviews. He's an all-star host, and he has at this time over 4,000 trips, and he started Turo in 2018. So that's insane. It's like, that's crazy. But like I said, we'll keep you updated on what happens with that. Now the next thing I want to get into is Kelly stamps. All right. Now, Melissa, would you like to come sit over here and join the podcast, Melissa? Okay. There are a couple people I watch on YouTube, right, that I have grown accustomed to kind of watching their journey. And I give my take on them, you know, when I learn about them. I'm like, oh, it's a cool person to watch. One of those people is someone called Kelly Stamps, right? Now, Melissa sent me a picture the other day, right? And I'm just like, why did she send me this? I didn't understand what's going on. Now, Kelly Stamps has probably gotten like 600,000 subscribers in the last year or something, like maybe like 500,000 in the last year. People have said she's one of the fastest growing people on YouTube. Now, I don't know if that was just a PR thing or if that's actually true, but she has definitely grown and her life has changed dramatically from when she first started doing YouTube over the last year. I remember watching her when she had maybe like a couple thousand subscribers, maybe, and now she's at almost 700,000. It's crazy. So I actually saw her in the city one day too. I was like, hey, what's up, Kelly? She's cool because she moved back and forth. You could go watch her story and learn about Kelly Stamps. Now, I personally always say, this is my theory when it comes to social media, when it comes to TV, internet, anything like that. I believe that the most successful people are the most insecure. That is my belief. That's what I think. And I think that this shows that. Now, you didn't know when you sent me that picture, which I think is crazy. She shows me a picture and goes, I don't even know why she sent it to me. I just looked at it, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Go ahead. Why you send this to me?
Okay. So I think I was at work. Yeah. Because he wasn't home. I wasn't home. So I was on Instagram. I follow Kelly on Instagram. And I saw a picture. And I'm like, oh my gosh, her boobs look big here. So I thought it was makeup. Honestly. Like, because the caption didn't say anything about getting her. And I didn't click on it too. Because apparently she tagged somebody. Listen, my mind is blown. I just thought her boobs looked bigger. And I'm just like, oh, look, babe. Look, you know, Kelly got some tatas. But I didn't know that, like, she actually got her breast done.
Right. So,
like, that's not the reason why I sent it to him. So I just found out this morning from the picture that I sent.
Right. I was just like, I put it on the notes, like, hey, we're gonna talk about this. And she was like, what you mean surgery? And I'm like, this girl that we've been watching for several months decided to get surgery. Now, we talked about her on the podcast before, like several times, every here and there, you know, we'll talk about her. Like I said, I felt like I really liked her content when she first started. I feel like when she first got into YouTube, it was very enjoyable content. I feel like it got to a point where she was chasing notoriety, chasing the YouTube algorithm. She was trying to get views and clicks and all other things that tend to make YouTube videos not as good. Now, the content is not good, but the algorithm likes it, so that will then give you more views. People will then subscribe more. You'll get more clicks. So then it's a weird situation because content that's not that good now becomes viewed everywhere, which then makes it appear to be good content. So, as I was saying before, right? I think, and now I don't think I can watch her the same way. Like, why are you rolling your eyes?
You're still gonna watch her.
How sure are you about that?
You're still gonna watch her.
Why do you think that?
Because you will.
How much money you want to put on that?
You think you're never gonna watch your channel again?
I think I'm gonna watch it a lot less.
I don't even think that's true. She'll even post that much to begin with for you to watch less.
I don't know if I could watch it now. I feel like I would.
Donovan is being dramatic. He's gonna watch. He's gonna continue to watch it.
Is it the reason why?
Especially if she posts like a video that's worth watching, he's gonna watch it. Cause you like her content.
I don't like her content.
That's what I say. If it's a video worth watching, where like her natural personality comes out, I feel like you'd watch it. You don't necessarily like her newer content because it's more like, I guess, corporate Kelly.
Listen, I have an issue with the insecurity fueled videos. And I've always said I felt like she was insecure. She lives by herself. She's making money on YouTube, which means that her whole life revolves around, okay, I need everybody to look at me. right? And she talks about her relationship issues and things she's going through with that. Like I said before, I really believe that I'm probably not gonna watch any more videos. That's number one. I don't know what Melissa's talking about, but I also think that insecurity then makes people's videos better. I think that the fact that they strive to be looked at, the fact that they want everybody to validate them, it makes them better to watch on YouTube, right? And I think what happens is, because that's what drives them, they feel like, okay, I'm not getting what I used to get. I need to do more and be crazier. And the insecurity then fuels and becomes bigger. And then I think it will manifest in things like getting physical surgery. Second YouTube thing I want to address was Dearra's video. Now, I didn't ask you this, but what is your view on Dearra's video? Another DK4L person we like to watch or used to watch very often. But what do you feel about her video?
I feel like it was plain. Like, it was just a walk through the house. The house doesn't have anything in it, so I feel like there's only so much that you can do with an empty house tour. And just in general, I think that like the editing, I mean, it's kind of on par for the videos that they have. It's just that she doesn't necessarily have anyone to interact with in the videos. It's more so like I think she kind of interacted with the cameraman, but like there's no one to like kind of bounce off of. But other than that, I feel like it still gives me I guess DK4L energy, because most of the energy does come from Dearra.
It's interesting you think that.
I don't think their videos were particularly spectacular before.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that they stopped making really good, well, I don't think if they ever really made really good videos, but I think that the fact that Ken is not there, it now has a situation where she doesn't have somebody to like pass off anything to. So now it's like every single video will have to be centered around her. And I feel like when I watched that video that she put up, I didn't think it was a good video. First of all, I thought it was a poorly made video. I also feel like her house was better where she lived before, and I feel like she downsized or downgraded in her house. And then I also feel like she was trying to be even more than she normally is to make up for the lack of Ken not being there, as opposed to being more natural. But again, I feel like she's also very insecure, which is why I personally think that's why Ken and her are not together. I feel like why
would that be the reason? It's not Ken cheating?
But I don't think any guy should cheat, personally. I just think that her insecurity leads to that.
I don't understand.
Which part? What you understand?
How does her insecurity lead to him cheating?
I think that the personality traits that she will exhibit from being insecure will make him not want to be around her.
But I don't think that, I guess it's not a normal relationship. I was gonna say I don't think that means to cheat. Like, you would, if you don't like the person that you're with, you should just leave. Like, cheating, I don't think there's any excuse for it, but it's a business. It's not just a love relationship or partnership in that sense. So I can see why, if they're making money from it, they would not just view it just on a you betrayed me in a love sense. Like, then they would have to take into consideration the money that they make, because their brand is them together. But as we see now, they are doing their separate things. So I think it got to the point where it's like, but I don't think that, I don't know. I feel like it being phrased like that takes the blame off of Ken for cheating, because he's the one doing the thing, and that makes him insecure in himself by doing that.
I don't condone cheating for any guy at all, any girl either, but any guy. I feel like if you don't want to be with somebody, you just leave. However, I think that her insecurity causes an issue in a relationship. Now, when that issue is caused, I think he should then leave. I don't think he should cheat, but I think that causes that.
Or even if it's not leaving, it's kind of like maybe addressing it.
I think it was addressed.
You think it was?
I think she just has I think she's an insecure person, and I think it shows in the videos. When I watch her Instagram stories, I feel like it shows everywhere, and I can only imagine what it's like to live with her.
So what are the signs of insecurity that you see?
Okay, it's almost like being a jester. It's like, I want everybody to look at me. I need people to look at me. When I've seen her post stories, right? She'll like pretend to be enjoying what she's doing, and then go, okay, let me see the camera, make sure I look good, right? Mm-hmm. That's one. I feel like her being in the videos, her doing all of that, that, right? I don't think that's natural. I think she's doing that because she thinks that people will want to see that. Mm-hmm. And I think she did that same thing in her personal life. The other instance was when Ken got caught the first time. Mm-hmm. That was an example of her being insecure, because she was trying to make it seem like it's not Ken's fault. She was trying to make it seem like, well, the girl wrote Ken and the girl did this, and it's the lack of having the confidence in herself to be like, you know what? I don't want this. I don't want to be with you if you're going to act like this. And I don't even think it stems from just that. I think it's how she views herself. That's what I think. I personally think she's just an insecure person, and I don't know what causes her insecurities personally, but that's what I think. And going outside of insecurity, the craziest thing I feel like was she posted this video, right? You can watch the video. It's, Dearra Taylor, house tour, right? She got, right now she's like 1.5 million views, probably more, maybe 2 million views at this time, right? And I think it's crazy that she had that many views, because I don't think the video was that good. I've seen better videos as far as house tours go, and it was trending. I don't know that many people that trend with house tours of houses that are, one, not furnished, and two, are not that grandiose and spectacular. It was a regular 3-story house in, a regular area. They didn't have like a crazy lawn or roof view, or it's just a regular house, and it's trending on YouTube. And YouTube commented. So that leads me to believe that there's a connection between her and somebody that works, or people that work in YouTube, and they are actively pushing her channel to be bigger or better than it is currently. That's what I think.
I think that there's kind of a lot of press in their realm about them breaking up. So I think the fact that because she also got like a lot of subscribers without posting a video too. So I think that there's a lot of hype probably coming from outside of YouTube too, that might have caused that influx of views for that particular video. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would be kind of weird maybe if it was like multiple videos getting the same treatment like this, but there's only one so far.
Yeah, I think that the amount of video views is so disproportionate to what they were posting before and the type of video that it was. And she had at the time 300,000 subscribers. So she got almost 5 times more views and subscribers than she got on her first video of a house tour in a regular house.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't know.
Trending.
You don't know it's a regular house until you get to the video.
That's true. Why do you think it's trending?
At that point, you already got the view.
You're right. Why do you think it's trending though?
Probably because it's getting a lot of clicks. And maybe because that's what I'm wondering too, like how many clicks are coming from external sources that are off of YouTube.
Like what?
Like, let's say, I don't know, Twitter or Facebook or Instagram.
That's interesting. I didn't look at that. See, I'm looking into that. Facts. TikTok. I see TikTok and Twitter. I wonder if she posted. Probably had to post it. So yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I thought that number was so crazy, but that makes a lot of sense.
Because I feel like with Dearra, she has like a following on all the major platforms. She has an Instagram following. Yeah, she has a Twitter following. She has a TikTok following. Very substantial.
Yeah.
So
listen, she's killing it. And
then the brands that she works with too, so they'll promote her on their page and stuff like that. So a lot of people look to her. A lot of females look to her for like outfit inspirations and like what's the other thing? Photo shoot inspirations and stuff like that. So it's like people are already watching her. So it's like I said, you don't know the house isn't all that until you get to the video.
Yeah.
So
I see that.
They might just be like, "Ooh, she got a house. What the house look like?" And click on it and be like, "Okay, you know, so it's a cool house. Like it's a cool setup." But you won't know that until you're on the video.
Yeah, I can see that. So I didn't think it was gonna do that well. What you're saying makes a lot of sense. I am curious to see how she's gonna follow these up. A couple more things in the life update is this. Somebody that I know has caught the virus, right? They had it. Now, I have said on here multiple times that I have a theory that people don't die in their house from COVID. I think that a lot of people go to the hospital and then they die in the hospital. Now, why that happens, it could be because their symptoms were so bad they went to the hospital and died, or something else happens. You know, maybe some malpractice. Who knows? Now, there was no real way for me to test this out unless I caught it myself, right? So somebody I know has a family member that got it, and they said that they are not into getting vaccinated, right? And they are also against going to the hospital, right? So I'm like, wow, this would be interesting to see what happens with this. And here's the other thing. The final nail in the coffin is that this person got severely sick. Now, they have family and a nursing background, so they were able to check their oxygen levels, and they were told to go to the hospital. Did they have pneumonia?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
They may have had pneumonia also.
So, yeah.
They may have had pneumonia, I think, in one lung, I believe, right? And they went to the hospital and they checked themselves out the hospital and decided they were going to just go home and deal with it at home. And you know what? At this point in time, that person is doing better than they were before when they first got it. Right? Now, I have several episodes in the beginning of the podcast where I explain or go through a family member of mine that I say was murdered by my other family members due to their lack of information about COVID. That's what I say. I say it was murder, but somebody else may say it was something else. And this theory is one person that is proving my theory up on top of the fact that I still don't see large amounts of people dying in their house. I would think that if this virus was that bad, it was that deadly, people would be dropping dead in their house. People that are just like, I'm getting real sick, I'm gonna stay home now, I don't want to go to the hospital. They will be dying, and I don't really see that. So that's that. So do with that information what you will. That's just my theory. I know for me, I'm not going to the hospital. I don't think that that's the best place for me to go if I ever were to catch it. So I think I already had it though, so I'll probably have immunity. I think I'm good.
Hospital don't want you either.
Right, they don't want me there in the hospital because I'm not vaccinated. So I'm gonna stay home. Listen, for everybody that wants to go to the hospital, you have a person like me who's saying, you know what, y'all go first. Y'all do y'all thing. I'm gonna stay home and I'll drink some tea, some burdock root tea. Now, on top of that fact, to add on to that, I have been skinny my whole life, and I weighed myself the other day, and I am now a lot heavier than I've ever been in my entire life. Now, I did not really know it was possible. That's not really true. Maybe I knew. I didn't think it was that possible. My biggest in my entire life, when I was out, I'll post a picture here because, I never waste a chance to post a picture of me when I was brolic. So you're going to see the picture right here. I was 190 pounds at my strongest, at my most fit, 190 pounds. Right? I was bench pressing 225 pounds. That's 45 plates on each side. That's my biggest. I was, what's that thing called when you do the behind the head tricep press? 90 pounds. I was big, strong. I was doing dips with weights, right? I was 190, arms looking like Popeye. Working out every day, right? every day. And on top of that, I would not play basketball so I don't lose the weight. So that's how serious I was about getting big and getting strong, right? Looking beefy on my shirt. 190. Struggle to get there. And I'm talking about 190 and it says I'm eating every day, drinking all the protein shakes, everything. And I got on the scale and it was like 190.1, right? Like I was like, oh, I hit the 190 mark. I'm so happy. So I take my fat ass on the scale the other day, right? I haven't worked out in a year or more than a year. I don't play basketball like I used to because everybody's shutting stuff down because of vaccines and mask mandates and gyms are closed, all types of craziness, right? Diet's not the same it used to be. Very inactive. Everything's closed for the most part, or was for a while. So I stay in the house. Very inactive, right? I am currently 205 pounds, right? Now, I remember my dad. I'll never forget. He was like, "Man, now I'm 210. I can't believe I got this big. I never thought I'd be this big." And I was like, "I would love to be 210. I would love that." He's about the same height as me. He was 210 pounds. I'm like, I think I know what he was talking about now. If he felt like this and had titties like this and a stomach, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Are y'all listening to me? It's getting crazy. Okay, so I got a fat stomach, I got titties, and my ass getting fat. That's how crazy this is. I didn't even know that could happen. Like, I had went to go scratch my back and touch my butt, and I was like, what is that? Like, why does it feel like that? Like, it feels like it shouldn't be like that. This is a first for me. I've never, like I said, I might sit now. I'm getting a little bit better, but I might sit too weird and my rolls will be too tight inside of my stomach and they scrunch up together. I'll be like, oh my, it hurts. I gotta like sit straight up like this now because I don't want my rolls to overlap. And then, like I said, my butt, my back, my neck is fine. My chest, I don't even see my arms. They kind of the same. But listen, I have never seen thighs. Listen, I don't even know what's happening anymore at this point. Probably my face is not that crazy, but I've never been this big in my life. That's all I want to say to you guys. And I'm working on it. Oh, earlier in the podcast, I said that I found a new water trick. They said to take 20 sips of water when you first wake up in the morning. It's the first thing you should do. And I've noticed that after I do that, I'm not really hungry for a very long time and I don't get tired. So, and I feel like, now even though I'm 205, I feel like my rolls have gotten a little bit smaller. So that's kind of good. Like I said, there was a point in time if I would lean too much to one side, oh my God, I'll be in pain. Like, this hurts. Like the fat would get together and like press together like that. So I'm working on that. I'm going to do episode playback. I need to look more into the camera. The reason I'm doing episode playback right now is because I want to get better at my time management. I think we probably went like 15 minutes too long, maybe 15, 20 minutes too long for the Dearra and Ken thing. Guilt. This is something I kind of really wanted to touch on because I felt like I understand what guilt is. There was a couple of episodes we talked about where I said that the opposite of, was it trust was disgust? Was that what that was that one, right? And then they were saying that guilt is, you remember what it was? It was two things added together. Either way, right? The reason I'm bringing this up is because I didn't feel like it was true. I didn't understand what that meant. I think it was anger and joy. I think that's what guilt was, right? And I didn't understand what that meant. So I've been looking at different videos about people that feel guilty, and not purposefully, I mean in terms of like watching a show or whatever. And I think, okay, when does a person feel guilty? And a person feels guilty when they are doing something they shouldn't be doing, but they enjoy it. And that's what guilt is. And I didn't understand what that was, because I remember before when I had talked about the time we almost died in the car, went off the side of the road, I said I feel guilty. But even when the therapist told me that, I didn't necessarily feel that emotion. I felt like I was like, I don't know. Everything you're saying is right. 100% of everything else he was saying was right. But something about the word guilty, I don't think the word was used properly. And I think that guilt is something you do that you shouldn't, that you enjoy doing. So you're like, oh, I really wanted to steal that, but I know I shouldn't have. I ate this candy. I shouldn't have ate that candy. But there's no guilt about driving off the side of the road. I think that's more of an embarrassment, but guilt, I don't think that's the right word for it. So that's something I learned recently. Slowing down. I realized that last week's episode, I definitely was, for whatever reason, talking pretty fast. I've noticed in the last maybe 4 to 7 minutes, I talked kind of fast. So I'm working on slowing down. But I think in the beginning of today's episode, I was definitely talking slower. I think the fan was on, so they gotta definitely address that last time. I think this one was on. I think that's what it sounded like to me. The audio needs to be better. We need to get a space where I can like design the room around the sound to have those things up so that the sound is a lot better. It's more conducive to making a podcast, because I think there's a lot of open space. I think the glass, I think there are things that I don't know about sound, how sound works, that probably I need to learn to make the podcast sound better. But again, we are still working on getting our car for Turo to be up. So we're not even nowhere near set up a podcast studio. And something else I'm working on too, which I notice happens even not just during the podcast, but in my personal life. I tend to over explain or give an example too many times for something. And as I listened to the podcast today, I felt like, okay, Donovan, you said that. All right. You said it this way. You said it that way. And there was a time where I was on the phone with one of my friends. I think it was Tim. And he had told me that one of the episodes that we did with my sister, we just hacked out the same thing over and over again. And honestly, that might have happened today with the DK4L thing. So when I listen back, I'll know. But I think I need to know when to put a button on it and go, okay, that's it. The last thing for episode playback I need to work on is the dissociation between myself and what I'm saying. A lot of times I will say you, even when I'm talking about myself. And I think for some reason that it allows me not to have to feel what's being said. So I may be giving an example and I'll say you. And I also think when I do that, people then feel offended because I use the word you as opposed to I. And I noticed that when I was listening to last week's podcast that I definitely should say more of I, because it's usually about myself. But that's it for episode playback. And then we have Donivan's questions. I don't know if I asked this before, but I'll ask it now. Is the Delta variant coming from unvaccinated people or vaccinated people? That's my question. So if you know, you can let me know, or you can Google it if you don't know, because I'm not sure. And I will also Google it again to double check. This is something I'm kind of curious about. I was thinking about it in terms of just where I would want to be in life. If it's better to be the king or the peasant in life. And I just equate that to a kingdom from, the 1500s. And I feel like we've had this conversation before, but about Spotify. But the reason I'm asking this question is because when you're a king, your term is probably short-lived, right? But during that time period, you get to do more or less everything you want to do. But you're always worrying about somebody trying to take your throne from you. You're always worrying about whether or not you can trust people. You're always worrying about if somebody's trying to deceive you. As a peasant, you don't really have those worries. You might have the local person trying to fuck your day up or whatever, but you don't lose that much because you don't have that much to lose. Now the issue is that you don't really have as much freedom because you have to do whatever the king says. And I'm wondering is it better to have a life where you live in the middle? And by middle, I mean you do not have to worry about how the rules affect everybody. All your job to do is to follow them. You don't have to worry about what foreign trade is happening. You don't have to worry about what other country trying to destroy America. You don't have to worry about that, because let's say China comes over here and destroys whoever's in charge here. Your life, for the most part, will still be the same. You're going to follow the rules that the person above you has given you. That's what's going to happen. It's not going to really change. You might be a little bit uncomfortable, but you won't be as uncomfortable as the person who was in charge of the whole entire system, and they are now ousted. So now they have to go from that to being a peasant or getting killed. So what do you think about that?
I feel like that's a hard question to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of like, it's kind of dependent on each other. Like, who are you ruling? And then who is ruling you?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if I get everything I want, the pay that I want, all my days of vacation days, and I only have to report to my office 1 hour out of week virtually, and I like my work, I might do the job. Like, there's nothing that is leaving me unfulfilled by doing this. But
you have to deal with the day-to-day things that will stress you out. So the rules, let's say you got to wear this to your job. You got to smile at your job even though you don't want to smile. You have to be here by 8:30. You got to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and be here by 8.
No, because I said remote. I said...
Oh, all right. You got to be up and be on your computer by 7 o'clock.
I feel like there are some jobs that are based off of executing projects than necessarily being on a time clock. So if it's a situation like that, then I'm down. Yeah, the whatever you needed was done within this time frame, because that's pretty much how being an appraiser works. Where like they don't monitor you the whole time necessarily. Like, it's like, hey, we need these 5 appraisals, so get that done. It's like, as long as I get them done, I can do all 5 in a day. I can spread it out throughout my week. Like, having that flexibility to do that, I feel like I wouldn't be upset doing the job. So I think it has to do with the terms of the job. And then when it comes to leading, the reason why I said it depends on who you're leading is because when you're a leader, you have to think about what needs to be done. Whether or not people think it's fair, whether or not it aligns with the people, like whether or not people think that it's harsh, or if it's there's just so many different things that are subjective to each person and how they feel. So you pretty much have to put everybody's feelings away and do what needs to be done. And I don't know if I'm necessarily the person for that.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting take, because there's 2 things about it. The first one, as far as the appraisals go, because like you'll be an apprentice right now, so you can't do anything without the approval of what they say.
That's true.
So it's like, would you rather be them or you in that situation? Because you can still go out and do whatever you do within the guise of what they say you can do.
Yeah, but I'm working towards being them.
So you don't want to be an apprentice. You want to be...
I don't want to be an apprentice. I want to be an appraiser.
So you want to be the but then you followed up with saying you don't want to be the person that has to make the leads and the rules and stuff like that.
I'm not making the rules because I don't have to train someone.
But let's say that you do, because that becomes your job. You're an appraiser now. I don't know what the highest level is called, but you're that, and now you have to oversee other apprentices. That's what you have to do. Would you rather be that person or the person that has to just deal with being told what to do by the apprentice or whoever's above you? I don't know what they're called.
In that situation, I'd rather be the apprentice.
Right. So now here's the thing with me. It's very weird. I don't want to be the...
Wait, what did I say?
You want to be the apprentice?
No, I want to be the appraiser.
Oh, the one above the appraiser.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I meant to say.
Okay. So you want to be the leader?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my thing, right?
Bro.
What?
That's completely not what I wanted to say. I think about... Did I say apprentice?
Yeah.
And I said a strong tool. Like, that's not what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I think my body trying to tell you something. That's not what I wanted.
Okay. So I personally don't want to be a leader, right? I don't want to be up there. However, I think I dislike being told what to do more than I want to not be a leader.
I share that same sentiment, and that's why I want to be the appraiser, because in that position, I'm the more knowledgeable one. Like, I get to control where I'm going with my future. Yes, I have to oversee other people, which I'm not particularly fond of. However, I still don't gotta listen.
And that's the crazy thing, because I've been trying to figure out, does a leader have to be a person that wants to be a leader? Because like I said, for me, I think that I can do my job better than you can, or the person, but I don't necessarily want to be telling you, listen, I'm making all the rules, we doing this is. I'm like, that's not.
I don't think that's what makes someone a leader. Just telling people what to do.
I maybe I feel like that you have to,
but I don't think that. I think that being a leader is more. It's more to it than that, especially to get the results that you want. And then, like, are you actually developing the people that's underneath you? Like, I feel like there's a lot more. It's a lot more than saying, "Hey, go to the store," and then the person goes to the store and come back, and it's like.
Yeah, but if you're using an apprentice as an example, I don't. What's the top one called?
An appraiser.
Appraiser. And they say, okay, you get a caseload. You're the appraiser. You get a caseload of 40 houses need appraisals, right? You got to send this person out to go do 25 of them, right? So how do you get them to go do 25?
Their incentive is money. It's not me.
I mean, but it maybe they want to, but they don't want to do it. You ask them. You gotta ask them to do it. Hey, can you go do 25 for me? And they go, I don't feel like it. I'm busy that weekend.
That sounds like someone that doesn't sound suited to be my apprentice. That's what that sounds like.
So that's, like I said, that's how I look at it.
Reasonable? Is there a reason why you can't?
It could be reasonable, but is there reasonable more important than when you need it done by? Because if you need it done by the end of this week for this person who's buying 40 houses and they talking about well, that's my child's birthday.
See, that's why I also think that I'm not suited to be a leader, because I was a supervisor before, and I realized that once I get into those issues where you're not doing what I'm asking you to do, is I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I know I could do it. I know I could do it well, but now I'm doing everybody's job.
Yes.
And now I'm not leading. So it's like, that's I don't think I'm the best. I don't think I'm the best suited for it.
Yeah.
However, I would rather be in that position than being told what to do.
Yeah,
I think that what you're I'm thinking what you're telling me to do is dumb. I don't have to do it that way. Like, what are you saying right now?
I think that's funny that we're both like that. I think that makes some more sense also. I think that makes sense. Because like I said, I'm not compelled to want to lead people. I'd rather be chilling by myself, doing what I do. And I honestly am not really a fan of being followed either, but it's more acceptable than leading. Because I don't really like doing people like, oh, Don, can I do that with you? No, don't follow me. Stay over there. Don't leave me alone. So, but yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
It's too much.
Yeah. All right. So, you got any last words?
Now it got me thinking about the leader thing, and just kind of like what I would do differently. Because there's a way to do it. I just don't know what that way is.
To what? To be a leader?
Yeah.
You have to. This is what I've learned as being a leader, being forced to be a leader. You have to tell people what to do. You have to more or less you have to do that. It's part of it, and that's what I've learned.
Yeah, but like, I feel like it's so weird because I don't want to tell someone what to do in a way that's disrespectful. But if you do that, they don't listen.
If you do what? If you don't tell them disrespectfully?
Yeah, or in a way that I find to be disrespectful, like either being too stern.
So you're saying if you're not stern, they don't listen. Right? Exactly, and that's exactly.
But it's like, I shouldn't have to do that with you.
But that's the thing about being a leader. What I was saying about being a king. These are the problems you have to now deal with. It's like, okay, I'm asking you. I tried to.
Don't do that.
He be beating them up. He be like, so what you mean you're not about to go over there? And then they start acting crazy. He be like, all right, you wilding. Like, we're not doing that. He be like, Zorro, go over there, you fight him, I'm gonna do this.
I think that I never thought of the fact that Luffy is very strong and that they might have to come to blows.
And right, and if anybody really want to smoke, it's like, do you really want to fight? We so happy with Usopp. He tried that and got smoked. And it's like, you could do that. So, as I realized, as a leader, you're going to have to fight. This is what I was saying about a king. You have to fight you have to fight the people that are trying to take over your boat
and fight the people that you lead in. That's a lot. It's a lot to do.
And that's why I was asking the question for that exact reason, because you are fighting everybody. But if you're down here, you don't have to worry about them. That's his job to fight the other people on the boat. You can help him.
But now, whatever rules he come up with,
you gotta follow them.
I have the foresight to see why it's there.
You gotta follow them.
It sounds stupid. Now I can't go outside after 7 p.m. That don't make no sense.
Nope. But and this is the question I'm getting to, is now you see the issue between both sides. Now, which one do you want? This is gonna be the last thing I ask, and then we'll close it out. Now that you see that you have to fight both sides as a leader, or you gotta listen to whatever he said, even though you think it's wrong. He said, "Yo, we have to go jump off this cliff." You gotta be like, "All right, let's go." Which one do you want to do?
I don't know. Because I would be more comfortable being like one of the regular people if we have a great leader.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can be a great leader without doing some type of messed up stuff. There's something there
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you either had to sacrifice, things had to be done a certain way that may not be pleasant to me,
mm-hmm.
and at the same time, being a leader, I think me personally, I would explode. It's too much. It's too much on my plate to figure out. I have to think about everything. And see, now we on the same plane now. Which one would you?
Which one would I choose?
Yeah. You're at 122.
All right, it's kind of long, but I would. It's weird, and I know that I have to be a leader. Like, I know that the information I have and the position that I hold in most circles, I have to be the leader, and that's just how it's been my entire life. And it goes against my personality because I'm more relaxed, but I know I have to do that. So. Which one what's the exact question? Which one do I want to do?
The question you asked me. It's hard. I don't think, I'm wondering if the true leaders are the ones that want to be in their position or the ones that have to be.
So I just watched a video about this. Funny, actually, after I wrote this down, where I think Steve Jobs said that a leader is the person that does not want to be a leader. They just are very good at their job, so they have to be a leader. And I'm like, that sounds like me, but that doesn't make sense in my head. Because I'm like, that's not. Why would that be the best leader? The one that doesn't want to be here.
But why do people who want to be a leader want to be a leader? Typically, it's not really for the right reasons. Because if you really knew what being a leader was, you probably wouldn't want to do it.
You spitting bars right now. Spitting bars. Listen, you spitting bars, and those are bars. But I'm gonna leave it at that. We're gonna wrap this podcast up. We will be back here next Tuesday. All right, you know what it is. All right, you know the deal. All right, every Tuesday we get here earlier. Right now it's 3:13. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Okay, mine is Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and you have my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. All the projects that we have are in the description box below. You can find the playlist to every single one of those things. All right, you know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2021. We going up all year. You know the vibes. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.